I've come to Herefordshire to see Tom Lacey in his new setup. I'm in an area of particular geographical and geological interest called the Woolhope Dome, surrounded the most glorious countryside in Herefordshire. Tom's moved from Oxfordshire. When I went to see him there, I arrived on my bicycle, my good old trusty bike. Today, not quite so luxurious and a bit more bumpy in a vehicle called a gator. I'm not quite sure I'd like to travel in one again, but anyway, it's a means of conveyance. This is something different. This is sort of something that picture postcards are made of. Tom Lacey is the lucky man. Tom, it's just, how did you find this place? It's just paradise.
Well, it's more by chance than anything, actually. One of my owners, Hopstrings' owners, appeared at the old place one day with a advert in the paper and said, I think you should go down and see this. And I think we came down that very afternoon and pretty much said to the estate agent, can you try and find out what will buy it? And, you know,
but apart from its geographical splendour, I mean, the most wonderful scenery, did you have to use a bit of imagination for, because you've obviously put the gallop in, you've got some fences, you've got, you know, all the facilities. Did you have to sort of think hard about that?
An awful lot of thought went into it, and yes, I spent many happy hours walking up and down these banks and across them and to see where we could, the best place to put the gallop was, and obviously it is extremely steep in places, so we decided in the end to cut across the hill, which added to the expense, but it was well worthwhile.
So is it a different sort of business now? Because when we saw you before, you were doing a lot of, you know, you were pre-training yard ready, wasn't it? But now you've got the licence. You've had your first winner when Cloudy Spirit won the other day. She won at Taunton. So you're on the map as far as a national hunt trainer under rules. But does the same? You still preschool as pre-training?
We've still very much got that side of the business going, yeah. And we've got plenty of sales horses to run and you know, to produce, to sell. And you know, it worked great up at the old place with Charlie, because he was my neighbour up in the Cotswolds. And
Charlie Brooks we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, he was in the yard an awful lot when he could be, and he rented some stables off us, and it just worked really nicely. But moving down here, BHA wouldn't have approved his licence whilst he still lived in the Cotswolds. So, you know, to try and keep that side of the business going and to build all areas of it, you know, I decided to take the leap of faith and go for my own licence.
Well, it seems like, I mean, you're taking it pretty seriously, because you wouldn't go to all this trouble and expense. I mean, it's a fantastic gallop, 4 furlong gallop. I'd get fit going up there. I used to pass your horses on my bike in your old gallop. I wouldn't have a hope here. So you're obviously taking this training business pretty seriously. Yeah,
well, we're taking all sides of it very seriously. Certainly the producing of young horses. The great thing with these hills that it's not over steep actually, and they do push themselves up rather than pull themselves up, which in my experience on some gallops, horses tend to pull themselves up it rather than push themselves up it. And here they do push themselves up it. They learn to breathe on them. It's, you know, it is a perfect gallop as far as I'm concerned.
And you had that first winner at Taunton when Cloudy Spirit won. Slightly, well, no, not slightly luckily. I mean, the gods were on your side.
Yeah, we were fortunate in the sense that Pretty Picture turned over at the second last. You know, there was an element of fortune there, but she'd dropped £10 for 2 runs previously, and the handicapper had pretty much got hold of her for her age, and she was struggling, and she went back up to 115. You know, she might just find it hard to win off that mark too.
I mean, she's had a run since. She was made favourite actually last time at Taunton.
A 3-runner race, and Robbie rode her, and he was the first to admit that he probably didn't make enough use of her over the, you know, we cut her back to 2 mile, and, you know, Robbie came in and put his hands up and said, you know, I got that wrong, which is, you know, fair enough.
A recent memorable race was the race at Doncaster, where Peace & Co won that 3-year-old Grade 2 hurdle. You had a runner in that one, a very nice horse indeed called Very Intense, who for a long way ran a good race. I mean, Peace & Co we might well find is a bit of a freak.
Yeah, he was very impressive. No, we were really pleased with Very Intense. We just trying to find the best ground possible to get him started, and we had Newbury as an option and Fosterlass yesterday. And Donny, had we not have had that rain at the end of last week, I think we would have had beautiful ground, and I think he'd have run even better. He just got tired over the last two, and the ground caught up with him. But Robbie feels that he'll be I know he'll improve for the run. And Robbie said he'll be a different horse on top of the ground.
And he was with Jim Bolger, showed a bit of form.
Yeah, he did, and the Navan Maiden worked out really well. There's multiple winners come out of that, so we've got something. We've got him out of the blocks, and we can build from there.
And you were, well, not robbed, but narrowly denied single farm payment. I thought, here we go, you're going to win at Chepstow, and you were just done. It was on the nod, wasn't it? A short head.
Yes, it was. By a horse I know quite well, actually. Sidbury Hill. He was fifth in Simon Squirrel's bumper on Grand National Day when Charlie trained Simon Squirrel, and that's pretty good form. That form's been franked by horse of Philip Hobbs's, Rock the Casbah, who I think's won 2, if not 3 since, and he was second. So Sidbury Hill's no slouch. We were very pleased with single farm payment. He's run. Exeter was just one of those things that we all experience. He ran really well at Southall next time up, and then Chepstow couldn't have been happier, but obviously disappointed to be done on the nod, really. There's a nod of heads.
So the facilities here. The gallop. First of all, you said you walked and looked at the hills and where to put it. It looks like you put it bang in the right place. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I got lots of people over, and I bought Sam Drinkwater, who rides all our pointers. I brought him over one afternoon, and we walked around and decided where to put it. In all fairness to Sam, he was the one that said, "Have you considered this?" And this is what we ended up with.
And then we saw a few horses. You got some fences over in the far distance there, four of them, and you bought a bit of polytrack from Wolverhampton. So it's, you're well equipped.
Yeah, I think I bought 1,600 tons of the stuff.
1,600 tons.
Yeah.
How many lorries did that come in?
A fair few Eddie Stobbarts. We had one go down a no-through road, and I think they got him out about 1 o'clock in the morning by the time he'd been in the ditch and everything else. So it was, a bit of fun had there.
But that we saw a few. A few horses, those young horses, just going through their paces. It's a great schooling ground, which is exactly what it is.
It's incredible. You couldn't cope on this land. It's very wet land. You couldn't cope without it. We struggled schooling all the horses on the Cotswold Brash. By the time you schooled, 6 or 8 horses there, you need to be moving the fences. You can't school young horses, expect them to jump well out of knee-deep ground. So, but that surface is fantastic to get them jumping. They're so sure-footed on it. They want to go in and jump. It gives them great confidence. And
one of them rather impressed me was the one with 4 white feet we can see leaping over those fences. And he's related to Virac, who's a very good horse already.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's half-brother to Virac. He's called Breath of Blight. He's by Policymaker, which is Saddler's World sire. We're really pleased with him. We love him. Yeah.
When will he be unleashed?
He'll be out pretty early, I would have thought, end of January, February. Yeah, we'll find a maiden point-to-point for him somewhere.
And then we saw, it's all different sort of facilities. We saw, they jumped tyres. Is that that's right sort of at the start of their jumping career, is it?
Very much so. They all do their time in the loose school, and then we take them out and around the farm and jump over the tyres, and those tyres are invaluable, absolutely invaluable. It just gets them off the ground with the rider on their back, and before they progress, and then they go and jump the hurdles, and we start introducing fences. We'll start with one fence and build, same as many others do, I'm sure.
And the loose school, obviously you that's been built from scratch, and that's a pretty important facility.
It's irreplaceable. Yeah, you spoke about how serious we take it. We do take it seriously, and you need the facilities. These horses cost an awful lot of money. People are investing in the horses and in me, and it's I've got a duty of care to try and provide the best facilities I can.
When they're in the loose school, we saw a very imposing looking horse going round there. Do they jump naturally once you sort of cracking the whip and they go around, or do they have to be taught that?
You'll get the odd one that really he just got. Most of them are quite natural. It's bred into an awful lot of them. But you'll get the odd one that just has no idea, and it's got legs everywhere. But 10 days in there, they're pretty much up to grips with it.
So when you've got a young horse like that, is he sort of at the very start of his racing career?
Yeah, he's a 3-year-old by presenting. I think he's an absolute lovely horse. He's got everything. He's got size and presence, and he doesn't know how good he is yet. He only knows 20% of his job, and he's a real nice horse.
And how important, I mean, I'm sure, it's just, if I was a trainer, I wouldn't really know. You can easily, it's easy, what I'm trying to say is it's easy to ruin a good horse. You've got to be very, very patient.
I think you can ruin them in minutes, and take a lifetime if you ever get them back. It's patience, and you have to pick them up and put them down every day and just, be in tune with them, see where you are with them. The worst thing you can do is gallop them when they're wrong, and I have made that mistake doing it before, and the horse never recovered. You really need to be on the ball, completely committed 7 days a week.
How do you know they're wrong until you gallop them?
Well, the first thing to do is watch their feed mangers, and how they're looking and feeling underneath you, and just go from there. But we don't really gallop them, and you won't ever need to gallop them on this hill. It's just educate them, get them, well educated and up to do the job.
And it's good racing country here, really, isn't it? Because Venetia Williams is near here. You've got Tom Simmons, who's quite near. I'm sure there are others as well. Yeah. It's quite a happy racing catchment area. Since you've been here, have new owners come along, and have you picked up some interesting new people?
Not really. I mean, there's other existing owners. A couple of their friends have materialised, and everyone has been immensely supportive of me, and some people have gone out of their way to put other little bits of syndicates together to help me, and but no, I mean, the owners haven't come flooded through the door, but I haven't really advertised or asked for it. We're running at full capacity most of the year, which is fantastic. So
what's the makeup? You still got you have a lot of horses in and out here the whole time. I mean, how many are there actually in training as a licensed trainer, and how many otherwise?
There's 9 licensed boxes, and there's 23 or 4 pre-training point-to-point boxes. There's 32 in total, 9 of which are in the licensed barn, and the rest are pre-trained. The horses that in November I had 20 yearlings of Rafe Beckett's, which I broke from October. They're all gone second week in November. That side of the business still functions very much so. There's 3 breakers waiting to come in. It's going really well, actually.
Because Rafe Beckett, you've been happy dealings with him for quite a long time. Having moved here, that'll still continue with it.
Yeah, I think so. I've been breaking racehorses. He's a great mate of mine, and I've been breaking. He was one of the first guys to give me a leg up when I set the business up. I've been breaking his horses for 10 years. Yeah.
And you don't seem to be a sort of person who does things by half measures. You're not going to do it unless you're going to make a right old go of it. As far as the training goes, do you want to? Is it sort of onwards and upwards? Do you want to really make a fist of it?
Yeah, no, I'd love that side of the business to expand, but you'll be judged on your results, and if we can get the results, hopefully we'll get a few more people in the door. But I'm very happy with what we've got at the moment. I really enjoy the buying and the selling side of things, and producing the young horses. I'd get as much fun out of selling the Gold Cup winner as I would of training it, to be quite honest.
Well, even before it's won the Gold Cup, wouldn't that slightly gall you if you think I've got a Gold Cup winner? Every horse you have has got a price, is it?
Oh, without doubt, yeah. Apart from the ones that are privately owned, certainly the partnership horses, they're all for sale.
You can't really be sentimental, can you? Sort of hang on. If someone's going to offer you a fair price, or maybe a crazy price, you've got to take it.
Oh, we're sellers. We will sell. So I can only speak for the partnership horses, but yes, we'll sell. They will sell every year. Whether some will hit the jackpot, and others will, make a massive loss, and the ones that have sold well will carry the losses.
So it seems, Tom, as if you've got very exciting times ahead. It must be very encouraging. It must give you sort of energy for the future.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really exciting. I'm really happy down here. It's a very friendly county, and I'm delighted. Yeah, no, really pleased we made the move.